The gates of Pelican Bay. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button, like this video if you love real crime, and comment below if you think you could survive inside Pelican Bay's walls. Trust me, after today's story, you'll understand why most people wouldn't dare step inside. The fog rolled in off the Northern California coastline, blanketing Crescent City in a cold, gray haze. Pelican Bay State Prison loomed like a steel fortress at the edge of the cliffs, its razor-wire fences glinting under the pale morning light. Inside, the notorious Security Housing Unit, or SHU, held the state's most dangerous men, serial killers, gang lords, and the type of inmates who could shatter your sense of safety with just a glance. Detective Laura Reyes gripped her coffee, her eyes locked on the satellite maps of the prison layout spread across the table. A tip had come in overnight. A body had been discovered, stuffed into a cell no one was supposed to enter. A cell that hadn't been used in years. The call came from an anonymous source claiming, "If you think Pelican Bay is locked up, think again. Some doors hide secrets even the guards fear." By the time she arrived at the prison gates, the SHU's towering walls felt suffocating. Guards patrolled the catwalks above, rifles slung over their shoulders, and cameras followed every step she took. But it wasn't the security that made her stomach churn, it was the knowledge of who could be inside. A place designed to break men, not protect them. Inside the SHU, the corridors were silent except for the echo of heavy boots and the occasional clanging of steel doors. The air smelled of antiseptic and old fear. Reyes' partner, Detective Marcus O'Neill, led the way to Block D, the rumored location of the discovery. The cell doors clicked open with a mechanical hiss, revealing narrow rooms with stripped-down beds, stainless steel toilets, and walls scrawled with crude messages and gang symbols. The body was curled in the corner, half hidden under a thin, tattered blanket. The man's face was bruised beyond recognition, but the notebook clutched in his hands caught Reyes' eye. Inside, cryptic notes and names were scribbled in a spidery hand, alongside dates that didn't make sense. A calendar of something, or someone, Flint. Who could do this? O'Neill muttered, scanning the cell. The SHU's supposed to be impossible to reach. Every inmate is under 24-hour surveillance. Reyes crouched beside the body. "That's the thing," she said quietly. "Someone inside is orchestrating this. Someone who knows the rules better than anyone." Her eyes caught a faint smudge of blue ink on the floor, a symbol etched into the concrete. It matched a symbol from a file she had seen months ago, a case that had gone cold. A gang message? Or a warning? Outside, the prison was a hive of activity. Officers whispered in corners, heads shaking. Nothing about this felt normal. And as they stepped into the yard, a second discovery sent shockwaves through the team. One of the SHU's senior guards had vanished. Not sick, not on leave, gone. No one saw him leave. No security camera footage showed movement. He had simply disappeared. Reyes felt the chill creep down her spine. Inside these walls, trust is currency, and every corner hides betrayal. She glanced at O'Neill, whose face mirrored her unease. Something wasn't just wrong, it was orchestrated. Someone wanted them to find the body, wanted to draw them into a game that had been going on long before their arrival. And then, tucked under the cell's metal bed frame, Reyes spotted it, a USB drive labeled with a single word, Pelican. She picked it up, turning it over in her gloved hand. A flicker of dread ran through her. Whoever left this wanted them to see it. Whoever they were watching. But when Reyes plugged the drive into her laptop in the evidence van, the screen went black for a moment before a single chilling video appeared. A live feed. From inside the SHU. Showing a figure moving silently in the shadows, carrying what looked like another prisoner, whispering, "They think they're safe. They're not." Reyes leaned back, heart racing. The walls of Pelican Bay didn't just hold men, they held secrets. And some secrets were deadly. Before we dive back into this nightmare, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and turn on notifications, because what's happening inside Pelican Bay isn't just terrifying, it's happening right now, and it's far from over. Detective Reyes sat in the evidence van, staring at the live feed on the laptop. The flickering footage revealed long, dimly lit corridors, cold concrete walls streaked with peeling paint, and steel doors swinging silently as if moved by ghosts. And then she saw him, a shadowy figure dragging a limp body across the floor. The figure paused, turned toward the camera with a glinting reflection that might have been a knife, and whispered something she couldn't hear. The feed cut out abruptly, leaving only static. "They're playing with us," O'Neill muttered. "Someone knows we're watching and they're not afraid to toy with law enforcement." Reyes rubbed her temples. Whoever had orchestrated the first attack was escalating. The missing guard, the cryptic USB, the live feed, Pelican Bay wasn't just a prison anymore. It was a maze of danger, betrayal, and human predators. Back inside the SHU, tensions were palpable. Guards whispered about the ghost moving unseen through the blocks. Inmates claimed they saw doors open by themselves, lights flicker, and shadows stretching in impossible ways. No one wanted to be alone. Even the hardened convicts who had spent decades in isolation felt the growing unease, a primal warning that something, or someone, was hunting them. Reyes and O'Neill began reviewing old case files tied to the SHU. Patterns emerged: disappearances, unreported injuries, and mysterious transfers that never made sense on paper. Each incident had been quietly buried, dismissed as administrative errors. But now, with a body found and a guard vanished, it was clear that Pelican Bay had secrets darker than anyone had imagined. Their investigation led them to inmate records from the last 10 years. One name kept surfacing: Michael, the surgeon, LeClair, a former gang lieutenant notorious for manipulation and calculated violence. LeClair had been in the SHU for over a decade, officially listed as compliant and under control. But every officer who had crossed him in the past had ended up beaten, or worse. Reyes knew that if LeClair was involved, the game had just begun. "He doesn't play by the rules," she said, eyes scanning the grainy prison photos. "Every move he makes is calculated, and every mistake we make will cost lives." Late that night, a second body was discovered, this one in the exercise yard. The inmate's fingers were splayed unnaturally, a crude message carved into the wall behind him: "Watch." Officers scrambled, but the message was gone within minutes. Whoever left it knew the surveillance system intimately, erasing evidence before anyone could see it. The prison director, a man with 30 years in corrections, was visibly shaken. "This isn't just an internal threat," he told Reyes and O'Neill. "We're dealing with someone who's infiltrated everything. They do the guards, maybe even outside contacts. No one is safe." Then the twist came. One of the recovered USB drives contained security logs with footage deleted, showing someone entering and exiting the SHU at times no guard was recorded. The timestamps didn't add up. The security chief confirmed it. The system had been tampered with remotely. Someone inside the prison had advanced access and a meticulous plan. Reyes felt her stomach tighten. The missing guard wasn't just a victim, he was the key. If he had been taken alive, he knew something the authorities didn't, and his absence meant someone inside Pelican Bay could strike again at any moment. The detectives decided to question inmates under strict supervision, starting with LeClair. When they entered his cell, it was empty, doors locked, no sign of forced entry, no guards around. Only a small envelope on the bunk. Reyes opened it slowly. Inside was a single piece of paper with one sentence: "They think you're leading this investigation. You're walking into the trap." A sudden alarm echoed through the prison. Every door slammed shut simultaneously, lights flickering. And in that instant, both detectives knew they weren't just in. Before we descend into the shadows one last time, hit that subscribe button and smash like, because what you're about to see inside Pelican Bay will make your skin crawl. This is the real story, and the walls are watching. The alarms had barely faded when Detective Reyes and O'Neill realized the prison was in total lockdown. Every door, every corridor, sealed shut. The faint fluorescent lights overhead flickered erratically, casting long, distorted shadows across the concrete walls. Somewhere deep in the SHU, Michael, the surgeon, LeClair was watching. And he had them exactly where he wanted. Reyes pulled her flashlight from her belt, scanning the corridor. The faint smell of disinfectant mixed with something darker, metallic, coppery. Blood. Not fresh, but enough to remind her that Pelican Bay didn't just confine danger, it bred it. O'Neill whispered, "We need to find that missing guard. He's the key." They moved cautiously, every echo of their boots magnified in the silent halls. The cameras they had relied on were useless, the system had been compromised. Whoever was orchestrating this had intimate knowledge of the prison's every weakness. Every step felt like walking into a spider's web. In Block D, Reyes found the first clue, a torn strip of a uniform stained with blood, wedged behind a vent. She pried it loose, revealing a hidden corridor behind the wall panel. It led down into the prison's underbelly, a narrow maintenance tunnel, damp, dark, and labyrinthine. Their flashlights revealed walls etched with symbols matching the ones from the previous cell, gang signs, threats, and a single ominous phrase scrawled repeatedly, "The surgeon decides." "This way," Reyes said, her voice tight. She could feel O'Neill's unease, mirrored by her own. Every instinct screamed danger, yet they pressed forward. The tunnel opened into a small, forgotten holding area, sealed from the main grid. Inside, the missing guard was there, bound but alive. His eyes widened in relief when he saw Reyes. Before she could speak, a figure emerged from the shadows. "LeClair, Finco." His eyes glimmered with a cold, calculated intelligence. "You've come far," he said softly, almost admiringly. "But this is where the game ends." O'Neill stepped forward, hand on his gun. "It ends now, LeClair. Let him go." LeClair smiled. "Endings are subjective. Some things are meant to linger." He gestured behind him, and Reyes' heart froze. A second prisoner was chained to the wall, another body in the making. The pattern, the meticulous cruelty, it all clicked. LeClair had been orchestrating murders from within the SHU for over a decade, using both inmates and complicit guards to manipulate fear, control, and loyalty. Reyes tried to reason, to appeal to logic, but LeClair was beyond reason. Every question she asked, every command she made, was countered with calm precision. It was like playing chess with a predator who anticipated every move. Then, the sound came, metal scraping, distant but approaching fast. LeClair's expression didn't change, but Reyes felt the tension spike. Another accomplice? Another inmate freed? The complexity of his network inside the prison was staggering. Without warning, LeClair lunged. O'Neill tackled him, gun drawn but useless at close range. The fight was brutal, echoes of metal and grunts reverberating through the tunnel. Reyes rushed to the bound prisoners, cutting ropes as she shouted for O'Neill to hold him off. When the struggle ended, LeClair was restrained, cuffed, and breathing heavily. Yet even as they led him away, his eyes met Reyes with the same unnerving calm, a warning. This isn't over. The prisoners were safe, the missing guard alive, and Pelican Bay's SHU seemed to settle into an uneasy calm. But as Reyes walked through the block, she noticed the symbols on the walls, the same gang signs, the same threats. A single message remained, freshly scrawled near an exit. "You survived. But the walls remember." Outside, the fog rolled back over the cliffs. Pelican Bay stood silent, a fortress of steel, concrete, and secrets. Reyes knew